Good evening and welcome to a live post-match edition of the Chromaniacs after a 1-0 loss to San Jose. I'm Craig Elston, joined live at Snapdragon Stadium by Tony Sanchez. Alex Pena was at the Snap as well, as was I. He's back at home, as am I. 2 different places. So from 3 different places, we join you to talk about one team that got 0 points and 0 goals tonight at Snapdragon Stadium. Gentlemen, good evening, live audience. Thank you for being up late with us tonight, recording in the witching hour here on Saturday night. And for everybody watching a little bit later on, thank you so much for your time and your attention. Tony, start with you out there live. You heard from the players. You heard from head coach Mikey Vares after a 1-0 loss to San Jose. What's your overall takeaway there from a now virtually empty Snap?
Yeah, what I can tell you is that everybody has the same feeling. Why? What's going on? Like, it's just this pent-up feeling of not having a victory, and tonight just getting clean-sheeted in order to not get the California sweep against San Jose. And I think ultimately both player, coaches, fans, press box was just dumbfounded how the ball did not cross the line for SanDiego FC tonight.
Oh man, it was disappointing being out there and just watching it for myself and with the 29,000 other fans there too. It was just a tough loss, and it did feel like we were an expansion team for the first time since that St. Louis game at home. It did feel like we were an expansion team, just getting our legs together, because nothing was really being executed. Passes were not crisp. The finishing wasn't there. It just, everything was just in shambles.
Yeah. As I said to Tony right before we came on the air live, I'm really getting sick of watching this soccer match. And whether it's SDFC or Wave, it's the same. It's come to Snapdragon Stadium and watch a great setup, watch great execution of the match day, by the various staffs. SDFC does a great job. Wave does a great job. Fans do a great job. Team possesses. Team looks dynamic. Team moves the ball around. Doesn't score. Continues to attack. Doesn't score. Then gives up a goal against the run of play. Okay, we're down 1-0. No big deal. We're going to... Nope. Never happens. Just tease, no please. That's what it's been for really our San Diego pro soccer teams for the better part of a month and a half at home. And guys, there's some different ways we can go about it. Soccer being a stupid match, one of the things you have to say is Daniel, the goalkeeper of San Jose, had a good game. Tip your hat to the goalkeeper. I get sick of it. But, it was one of those matches. I think SDFC could have scored, and they never did.
No, I'm not with you with that one, Craig. I don't tip my cap to Danielle. We just sucked. He wasn't that good. He wasn't good at all. I mean, we just couldn't finish it. It's one thing when you have St. Clair at the net and he's making dive, he's stopping the shot and everything. But then it's another where
12 goals on the. It's about survival.
Your wingers are attacking
Getting
your
back
forwards.
over the playoff line. St. Diego against St. Joseph.
It's
Great
just
to be with you from Snapdragon Stadium.
The amount of time
It's headed away.
I think Pellegrino, we were talking about this last episode of the Chromaniacs, right? What kind of game he was going to have.
This might be the ace in the hole, though, for San Jose. This man
there was sort
marking
of a
pressure,
revenge game. It's
which
that same
caused
Pellegrino
San Diego
feel where
some
he
problems when they
gets
played
some good
back
runs,
on
has
August
some good touches,
17th.
and you're like, oh wow, for a big guy.
San Jose had
nice.
taken the lead in that game before San Diego
that
brought
final
on Dreyer
touch,
and
there's a
Ingvartsen to turn the
specific
game
play
around. Here is
right
Dreyer.
before San Jose's goal, where Pellegrino is
Lozano!
caught just in no man's
It's
land.
wide.
And he's just
And it's not
standing
the
there
first
in the
time
box.
he's had an opportunity
And
like
by the
that
time
this
Honors and the
season.
play gets to him,
Great
he's
goal
still standing
by Dreyer. These two
in an
are
offside
on the same
position
page
with
every single time.
no defender around him. And
the
then
Southern was
Honor is
not on the
passing it
same
to
page
him,
with
and,
the back
and
of the
Honor is
net there.
visibly frustrated. At this point, that's something
Gaping
that Honor
goal.
himself mentioned, that
He has
the
to
moment
score
Chucky
here.
missed that one-on-one
He's got
in
to
the
keep
first
that
half,
ball straight.
right here,
He gets the
this
angle
is
all
the
wrong.
moment where
Big
I think
chance.
frustration
Grabs his
just
run in field.
got pent up and closed off.
Here is
And
Dreyer.
from then on, you
Lead
can
for
tell that the
Godoy.
team just wanted it more. Chucky wanted it more, but
Dreyer
just wasn't
knew right
happening.
away where he wanted to
And
go
in that
with it.
specific play, Pellegrino goes
So
in,
a ball might
stands
come
there,
for
nothing,
SanDiego
counterattack, San Jose goal.
Dreyer again.
Tony,
Great
the
interplay
audio
with
on these
Sano.
highlights is
Snuck it
playing
through.
over you,
Pellegrino standing like a
so
statue.
it was hard to hear anything you said there. And apologies to the audience. We were hearing all the play-by-play from Apple there, over the top. But you talked about Pellegrino. I heard you say that, and him being just standing off, thinking he was playing indoor. I think, like just waiting to accept a pass in an offside position. This may be the right thing to say. This may be a tad emotional, or a tad frustrated, but I'm angry tonight. I'm angry. And part of the anger was being at the amazing supporters tailgate where they had a TV set up and they were watching MLS, whip around, whatever they call it, MLS 360. They were all the time. And I got to see a couple Milan Alaski goals tonight for Philly and a 6-0 win. And then I got to watch who we got to ostensibly replace Alaski in Pellegrino. And we've seen Baird as well. And it hasn't happened. And Igvartsen is the white whale. Like you can go sail the seas and try and find him. But he never seems to appear. And I am concerned that SDFC, with this great season, actually pulled the kill switch at the midway point by making a uncalculated decision to let Milan Alaski go. Whether it was they underrated Milan, or they didn't have the money, or they didn't think it was worth it, or Milan pressed for too much, whatever it was, they didn't get the job done and they didn't find a replacement. And now that gaping hole is being exploited. And I think, guys, that all of the clubs in the league have seen enough tape now on SDFC. They know to put the double on Chucky. They know to put the double on Dreyer. They know they can leave the middle open. There's nobody there that's going to do anything damaging to them. And I am very concerned that kill switch got thrown and we're just waiting out the result. And that makes me angry. And I'd be happy for either one of you to talk me away from that.
It's tough to talk you away from that because the results haven't been there. I think I remember saying, well, they can use a DP spot if they really wanted to. And I said, go for it. You go for it. And this is your first year. When are we going to see 3 designated players again? I don't know. I don't think they'll ever do it because they're very focused on the youth, on keeping, the roster very young. And look at what they've done at LAFC. They got Sun, flip the switch for them. Over in Vancouver, they got Thomas Muller, flip the switch for them. And these teams look recharged. And us, we've been flat. We've been just okay, just kind of going along with the season. And yeah, it's some big shoes to fill. And what they did was they moneyballed this thing, and they said, okay, we need a guy that can pass, and we need a guy that can score. On the passing side, they got Corey Baird. On the scoring side, they got a 36-year-old Mal Pellegrino, and they moneyballed it. They replaced Alaski with their ideal forward in the aggregate, and to them, there was like, this is the best we can do because nothing really good was out there except for Milan and Lasky, who I don't know. It seemed like they didn't like him as much because they didn't want to fork over the money that was there. But Yeah, now and now we're paying the price for that. So it's tough. It's tough when the results just haven't been there.
The difference last game, same thing. San Jose took it to San Diego when they were at home, and the difference was one Marcus Invarson, an assist and a goal. Invarson isn't here. Invarson was the replacement for Milan Iloski. Pellegrino and Baird were supposed to be second and third option if necessary, probably third and fourth because second is Valakari, third Dreyer in the middle. So now with Invarson injured, again, you're in a position where Milan Iloski that decision just keeps haunting this team. And so it's interesting just to see how this team was constructed, right? We're talking about Moneyball. We're talking about all these things, talking about Son, Thomas Mueller. It's interesting because the supporting cast for those teams was getting sharpened throughout the season, and it just needed that extra piece to go ahead and be the crown jewel to take them into playoffs, where I think SDFC did it the other way in a bottom up, top down, however you want to see it, where the two DPs kept producing. They kept producing. The supporting cast, it's okay. Like they'll be there and they're going to develop. They're interchangeable. They're next man up because these two DPs are getting it done. But now there isn't room and space and or time to throw in another DP and okay, we'll go for somebody like Mueller or go for somebody for Son. So I think these decisions are now coming back for San Diego FC. But even then, without Son, without Thomas Mueller, you have to score a goal. And before I was showing the highlights with the audio over, here's the play that I was referring to. You see Pellegrino here just kind of walking along in the middle of the box, right? The ball is getting bounced around, and he just marauders, I don't know what he's doing, just walking in the middle, putting himself in an offside position when the play is still going. And so with that, he just stands there. And that has to be frustrating. It's frustrating for Honors because he puts his hands up like, what are you doing there? He would have been offsides. Had he gone for the ball, it would have been called offsides. If that gets called offsides, ball stops. There's no counterattack. San Jose doesn't score, and it's not 1-0.
But he just stepped away. You're absolutely right. He just stepped away, almost like a keeper in indoor where the pass is coming for the second touch, and he's like, nope, not going to touch it. That's what Pellegrino did. And right, it was. I remember the feeling being in the north end there, Tony, and it was literally before you got your kind of hands off your head going, wait, what was that? Why did that? What happened? Okay, now here comes Arango. And now here's Joseph Martinez. And now here's a goal. And I mean, talk about against the run of play. But Tony, I think you bring up the best point. It's a double mistake, triple mistake. Like you wandered into an offside position. What the heck are you doing there? You stayed there. What is that all about? Fix your mistake. Now Dreyer's played you the ball. Now you don't touch it. Now there's no whistle. Now everybody is looking at you. San Jose is playing the ball forward. Literally, there's Dreyer pointing, and there's the keeper throwing. The keeper's ready to distribute. So it's a moment that costs you 3 points. It's a moment of inattention. The match lasts over 90 minutes. You understand a moment of letdown, a moment of inattention, but that was the margin in tonight's game, and it's a real shame to see.
And again, that's the replacement. Go for it, Alex.
I mean, yeah, the attention to details right there. It's just like, what are you doing? And not only does it cost you a goal, and you just don't do anything to kind of like counteract that. Like you just, I didn't see anything in the first half where really they were really trying to help themselves and try to score. I saw a little bit more in the second half on where I was at and on that side of the field, but it was just Yeah, Amal Pellegrino, you got to correct that. You got to figure out, like, what are you doing there?
A couple of chances too that the ball goes a good cross, and I can't tell you how many balls didn't get recorded as shots because nobody touched the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Crosses don't count as shots, and if you factor those in there into the XG, yeah, it goes up. But the plays are being made, Craig. Like it's incredible what's happening.
Well, and I'd like to respond because I appreciate it. In the chat, there's a couple folks that are like, "Hey, shut up on your face about Olowski. Dude's gone. He's been gone. He's not here. Don't worry about people who aren't here." Got it. I don't think you need to use the words dumb and pointless. You can maybe say pointless. However, if there was something dumb, it was probably not keeping the guy. And when you open a wound, when you open a hole, and then you don't fill it, and then that continues to be the spot that you're leaking success and points, yeah, it's going to become a little bit of a hobby horse. It's going to become a little bit of a motif. And it's a shame. But I'm not here to just go, Olowski. Well, who knows? He could have stuck around here and got hit by a bus. Nobody knows what the future holds. Sliding doors. However, this team doesn't have a 9. And since they lost the one they had, they haven't been close to the same offensively. And if there's anybody in our audience that would like to tell me that I'm wrong about that, I would suggest you go back and watch the tapes and see the scores. I think you're being emotional yourself if you say that. This hasn't been the same offense in the second half of the season. And we're missing a 9. And I think these are just factual statements on my part.
Yeah, and we'll have a 9 once Marcus and Bartzen comes back, because this team made a big commitment for this guy. And yeah, he's going to be here a while. He's probably going to be given a ton of chances to kind of redeem himself for this year, whatever he's been going through. But we'll have a 9 once he figures it out and comes back.
I mean,
Look,
if and what he's gonna play your second half of game 1 in playoffs, and then he's gonna be injured, or do you get to a third even? Like at that point, like if you're not scoring in these moments, it's just that's the frustrating part, that these details are something that you should have already fixed. And I think that was one of Mikey's responses in post match, is that there's nothing major to fix, but there is details to work on. I'm not sure if people would agree with that, but there is one big detail to work on, and that's the finishing. And at the end of the day, too, like you can tell that it's infecting everybody around Chucky, around everybody else, because you saw a couple of sitters by Valakari who just passes it off target. Like it's a pass, not even a shot. It's a pass off target in front of the box. That is incredible to see. Chucky, again, he was frustrated throughout the match as soon as he missed on that one-on-one in the first half, and it just breeds frustration, and you can tell from the touchline from front to back. And I see again some people being solution oriented too, like, well, move on from Ulowski, let's play Dreyer and Chucky up top. Too late. You can't adjust. Yeah, sure, make a 3-5-2, put 3 center backs, Dua, McVeigh, and McNair. Put your 5 midfielders. You still work not Bombino, which I guess, you know what? Team did all right for not having Bombino. Did all right.
Decent,
sure.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't solve the striker situation. It still doesn't solve that. And you put Dreyer in the middle, he's just going to get bodied. He's just going to get bullied because he's tired from playing 65 minutes or 70 minutes on the wing and trying to go past and creating chances for nobody to finish. So, if this is what San Diego FC is going to look like into playoffs, mind you, the next time you see San Diego FC at Snapdragon Stadium, it's in playoffs.
It's game 1 of the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely.
And they haven't won since the Nashville game here at home in MLS, and that was July 25th. And before that, it was the 30th or 31st of May against Austin, and I guess you can throw in there a couple of, friendlies against Cholos.
You can throw
Leagues Cup.
You can throw in
Leagues
friendlies along the way or Leagues Cup, but that's stunning. So July 25th. So that's 2 calendar months, no wins. And again, I'll just toss it in. It's now been 4 months and 2 days since the Wave won a match at Snapdragon Stadium. And both teams are suffering from the same malaise. Possession, no finish. Never finish. Just don't find the finish. It is deeply frustrating. You give up a goal against the run because you're so focused on what you're not doing along the way. It's difficult. And guys, it's a long season too. And, you're not playing 3 matches a week, but it's a long season. They've been together for, almost 10 months now. And at this point, if you're not creating new answers, if you're not finding solutions, the idea that you're going to start finding solutions with the same setup becomes increasingly improbable. So I'm not trying to be a doomsayer here. This has been an incredible season for San Diego. They lose in the first round of the playoffs. It's still a great season and one worthy of incredible celebration, and admiration. But we are left wanting more. And right now, what we are left wanting is a team that can find that solution in the final third.
Yeah, and you know who actually had a pretty decent game today was Ani Velakari. He had the highest XG for him. He had a good amount of touches in the box. He looked better than what we were talking about with Luca De La Torre. He looked better in that position, and he was trying to create chances. But the thing is, like, he was getting it, trying to get it to the final third, and it's like nobody's there to finish it off. So I kind of like that from him, and and then it was different. I was surprised to see Godoy come out and then Luca De La Torre come in for Godoy. That was different. It didn't produce anything, but it was different. It was not something I don't think I've seen from this team yet, or from Mikey. But it was just a different look, and I just don't know. With the way that they play and the formation and the structures that this team is, there's not much. There isn't like that many solutions for it. It's always going to be 4-3-3. It's always going to be the same type of structure and everything. It's just how can you change that if this is the system that they're in? Because it's just always going to be the same. The only thing you can do is get better players, and you can't do that anymore. You got to wait till the off season. So
Yeah, I don't think we could fly in any more of those guest players.
No,
You got any more
I wish
of them
we could.
Got any more of them guest players out there?
Yeah,
I was looking for GP37. I was like, where's
I want
GP37
on the team right now. Get them on a flight.
And look, I see Tony looks frustrated. What frustrates me is bad soccer, and right now San Diego FC's finishing is bad. It's not good. And I mean, yeah, Valacari played well, expected goals. Yeah, goals expected in this play. You expect Valacari to be able to pass a ball at least in a straight line. If you kick a ball in a straight line, you get it on target. It's a goal kick. So, again, like, it's one of those stats that goes one way or the other, but like it's you're asking a center attacking midfielder to be your 9. You're asking so much of so many players. It's like in football when it said, like, if you have 2 good quarterbacks, you don't really have 1 good quarterback. If you have a good decent amount of center forwards or false 9s, there's not really any sort of striker there at all. Yeah. There's not the guy. I mean, Saidi, like, literally, I just remembered he existed, but that's a 16-year-old you're expecting to salvage your season. So that's the part that's frustrating. That yes, it's so beautiful. The way San Diego FC still plays, it's so great. It's such a great attacking style. It's the style that that the city was promised, and the style that we're going to be stubborn with and go down with the ship with. And unfortunately, this ship is taking some water right now.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible season, and it's been a rough month. And maybe that's the perspective that is needed right now. When this team drew with Portland 0-0, they clinched the playoffs. That night, head coach Mike Ibanez had a great speech to his team that the team itself then put out on social media and made public. And it was the speech of Iorike. Iorike. Now what? What are you going to do now? And the next result for SDFC was arguably their best of the year, going to LAFC and winning 2-1. At that moment, I think we felt like, okay, rocket ship to the moon. You know, Iorike is campeones. But since then, 3 results in September, none of them up to par. Minnesota United, okay. What a frustrating match. St. Clair, 1,000 saves. You know, the random set piece, and then 2 almost flukish goals, a game that felt like you were winning 3-0, you're losing 3-0, you lose it 3-1. Okay, put it aside. Go to Atlanta, now you're playing a bad team. You can get fat. They give you a goal. They give you a goal like the Galaxy did your first goal ever. You're up 1-0 at the half. Really don't really show up in that second half. Not the way that the club needed the players to show up in the second half. They were lucky to get a point in that match, and now you have this one tonight. San Jose needed the points to get to the other side of the playoff line. They're fighting for their playoff life. The randomness of soccer makes this not like a deplorable result. It's not one that makes you, throw the team out and send it down the San Diego River. But Iorike, since LAFC, has been really not much. It's been 2 goals, one of them in nothing time, one that was given to you by the other team. And the build, maybe this is the transition, the build up that's been such a great part and such an attractive part of SDFC's attack all year. It just hasn't felt as connected the last 3 matches as it was before.
It's a matter too of like they had the confidence, they had all the ingredients, and I think that's the frustrating part for not just the fans but the team itself, is that they were doing all of it and they know how to do it. This team knows how to do it. It's that A+ student that gets a C, and it's like, whoa, wait, what? Like, no, you just sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But this is a C performance and even potentially a D performance, but you're capable of so much more. And that's the frustrating part, because you see it. You see the plays, you see the XG, you see the shots, you see, just Mano Dua defending very well and doing all the things that he's supposed to be doing. As a team, the team plays well. But the results are the important part here, especially now towards the end of the season. And as cynical or as like however you want to see it, like this could have potentially been San Diego FC's last match here at home. In an expansion team, a lot of people before the season started probably expected this to be the last match that they see San Diego FC. But because they did so well, now they're in playoffs. They have, that extension. But tonight would have been the night.
Yeah, and it's fortunate that they did so much during the season to end up in a top 4 spot in the Western Conference, and they're gonna get another home game. But it's still disappointing that this is how they ended up losing the San Jose last regular season match. Does it give you confidence that towards a home playoff match that they can win out a 1-0 or 2-1 match at home? It doesn't really give me that much confidence. I understand like the playoffs it's a whole different beast, but I want to see like a recent good form at home, and they just haven't given it to you. It just hasn't been there, and it hasn't been there even away in the in Atlanta. It hasn't been there against Minnesota. It hasn't been there. It just I'm not really getting confidence in this team heading to the playoffs, and then you got Houston and Portland, ahead. So I just don't know what to expect with this team moving forward.
Well, that final home record is 7-5-5. So someone asked in the chat, like, how many do they win at home? Well, 7 of 17 is the answer. They won 7, they drew 5, they lost 5. And that's okay. That's pretty good. The reason that SDFC is where they are in the standings is because they've gone 10-4-1 on the road. And now for them to stay at the top of the standings, they're going to have to go 12-4-1 on the road, because the last 2 home matches, you needed to get 4 points. You needed to at least draw against the Loons, and you needed 3 here tonight against San Jose. And I don't think, being on a post-match show, it is inappropriate to say that is disappointing. It doesn't make us, and we've had a couple of like emotional fans in the chat, like, well, let's just give up in the season then. Like, this is a match. We're talking about it after the match. It's disappointing. SDFC is not doing what we want them to do right now. They've had a great season. This isn't the season wrap-up show. This is a post-match of a 1-0 after, to San Jose, a team that you've already beaten this year. So it's and that's the thing. And Sean put that quote from Sean. Like, I just looked down the standings. The 7 teams below San Diego in the Western Conference standings all have better home records than San Diego. San Diego, of course, has a better road record than all of them. Well, that's great. But guess what you get? You get 2 home games in the first round. So it's, you're almost punishing yourself right now with the nature of the form. And that's why I'm frustrated. That's why I'm a little more angry tonight. We've been here waving the pom-poms for this team since episode 1 of Chromaniacs. We want them to succeed and do well. But all of a sudden, the offense looks not just frustrated, but a little disconnected. It's one thing, the Minnesota game, I'll give them. But you didn't create anything against Atlanta. They gave you a goal. You didn't really create anything except for, we played some chances on the video. Here, there were some chances, some opportunities, but coming up short over and over again is becoming a theme. And it's a frustrating theme. As such, Tony, what did head coach Mikey Varas have to say? Let's dip into the head coach's comments and see if they are of a tenor of what we're saying, or if in a Mike Schulte fashion, he goes, I don't know what to tell you because I love my team and I can't wait to see him on the pitch tomorrow.
We'll start with questions in English, followed by questions in Spanish.
Thank you for your time, Mikey. Could you give us your first reflections on tonight's match, and could you give us your impressions as far as the finishing when it comes to tonight and as well?
Just really disappointed not to get the 3 points at home for the fans. They were great as usual, and like I said, we can feel their support so clearly. But I think at the end of the day, if we take that game picture, we'll take that game picture more often than not the result. But I think we have 2 point something XG. They have point something, and you lose the game. So you kind of left wondering. It comes down to details, little details, finishing quality, concentration in moments during counterattacks. And these are the kind of games that I think teams are going to play us in playoffs here, because they show a lot of respect. So it's good that it's happening now, and that we're taking these lumps from a growth mindset perspective of like, okay, it's not big things that need to change, but what little things do each and one of us, including me, have to add in these final weeks to make sure we hit playoffs in best conditions when we can see a game like this happening. Because that game could also open up into a route for us, right? If we have the quality in the final actions, but it comes down to details. And right now, we know all of us will be putting our heads together and looking in the mirror to discover what little things we can do to make sure we hit our stride. Because if we hit our stride, I think we're going to be quite dangerous.
Excellent. Second row. I'm going to put the mic closer, Mikey.
Good evening, Coach. My name is Daniel Sale with Deportes USA. The team's last win at home came 2 months ago on July 25th. Overall, just what's happening, or what are the factors you think that are contributing to this?
Well, I think, just to clarify, I think our last home at win in league, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think teams come and play us in tough conditions, right? They try to play a really close game, get you in the counterattack, slow the game down, chop it up, wasting time. This is something we're starting to see be pretty predictable. We can pretty much tell the referee from the beginning it's going to happen. We hope that they manage the spirit of the game and give yellow cards a little bit earlier in the game to keep the game sped up for the good of the game, whether we win or lose. I believe that. But it's a strategy that some of these opponents have, and that's a valid strategy if that's what they want to do, and it's the referee's job to manage the game. And then when you play those kind of games and you don't take your chances, then you leave the door open for not getting the results, and that's just where we're at right now. But it's not that the team is playing bad at home. You know, we create a lot of chances, we dominate large portions of the game, we don't give up a lot of chances. Usually, you take all of those ingredients in a game, but the most important thing right now is to maintain calm, know that we're a good team, we have good players, we work really hard, and finding that little extra that we need to make sure that we turn these into not just good statistically speaking performances, but wins.
Well, as usual, great stuff from head coach Mikey Varas, recognizing what the issues are, but also noting the positive. And look, this is 2 home matches in a row where SDFC is an XG darling and a scoreboard, loser. And that is completely valid for the head coach to point out. He's right. Like, they are creating chances. They are struggling to finish, and teams are playing a muck it up style against them that you have to finish to take them out of. If you screw it up and you don't finish, the muck it up style has worked. So every team is going to do this. The only luck, I think, Alex, that SDFC has had in this regard is home teams are usually less willing in the regular season to play a really ugly, mucky style. Minnesota doesn't care. That's what they call pretty. But most teams don't feel that way. And I think SDFC really took advantage of that in the middle of the season. But to the extent now, Alex, that I feel now everybody says, I don't care. We have to do what we have to do to stop SDFC.
Yeah, and that's what the tape says. I think everyone knows the style already. They know what they want to do, and it's just like, okay, we can sit back, we can, low block, we can, try to slow them down as much as they can. By the way, I think that's the first time I ever heard Mikey Varas say anything about the referees ever. I don't think I ever heard him say anything about them before. But
Yeah.
and I think this is why I sound the way I sound. I was yelling at the referees because I didn't think they were handling the foul situation the way they should be. They were letting a lot of stuff go. I thought they could have easily started giving out a couple yellow cards towards San Jose, but they didn't. They let the play go on, and I was like, "Oh man, this is getting pretty ugly." But yeah, if you have a referee like that, easily you're just going to be slide tackling all day. It's just that's just how it is. especially for a team like San Diego that wants to keep they want to keep going, they want to keep going forward, and just one little thing can just easily slow everything down, and that's it. That's their chance.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, another team that does the thing that's the Achilles heel of San Diego FC. You want the ball? Take the ball. Take the space. We don't need it. You seem to not need it because you don't do anything with it. So here you go. And that's exactly what Bruce Arenas did tonight. It worked once again. And to use Mikey's own analogy in that with the ingredients, yeah, you can be in a 5-star Michelin chef. You can be a master chef and have all those warehouses of ingredients. But if your fire is too hot, you're not going to cook anything good. You have to adjust it correctly. And that's the adjustments that are just not happening. And when you look at the ingredients, well, they're not as prime as you thought they were. Because yeah, you have the protein, but you don't have the spices. You don't have the building blocks of your recipe. And one thing that both Yepe and Honor said, and Shiva's working on the post-match completely, and the rest of Mikey Varas, to be honest, on SanDiego.Futbol, they both used the word annoying. They just used not just the word annoying for this match, but they said, it seems like in this league in MLS, like most teams need to play us a certain way, and it's annoying. And yeah, no, 100%. It's annoying, but guess what? This is the league that you're in, and this is the league that you need to win. So figure it out. And if you can't, then that's just the reality of it. And have we seen San Diego FC peak? Have we seen the best of San Diego FC already in the season? Well, hopefully not, because there's going to be a playoff game here soon. And, after a couple breaks and some time to reflect and time to maybe teach somebody how to poke a ball through through the line. That's all they needed. Legitimately all they needed. Pellegrino just to be a second earlier for some of these moments to be a little bit more focused. Mikey said it there. Just the focus of it, the mental aspect of this match was lost. And San Diego FC cannot afford to lose any sort of mental battle from here on out.
Well, that's where we stand tonight. A 1-0 loss, frustration, annoyance, XG darlings once again, chances created, solutions not found. And it just increasingly creates a blueprint, and it also, builds toward a narrative that SDFC took MLS by storm, that they came in with a creative style that, exactly like the players are discussing, was disparate, different from what they're used to seeing, that they got incredible performances from their DPs, that they found a center forward out of nowhere who all of a sudden lit the league on fire. And then it changed. They no longer have the best offense in the league. The league has adjusted to their style. The league has found the counter. And now it's Mikey's turn. It's Mikey's turn. What's his counter? So the last thing I'd like to say is this. Iorque. What now? What's the adjustment now? Because the last time it was said in a Dogecoin to the moon kind of attitude, and now I'm saying it. Okay, what are we going to do now? Because what it is now is it's stuck in neutral. So what are we going to do now?
Yeah, that's really up to Mikey, because what can he do to make this a club that can really connect in the in these last two regular season matches? Because yeah, we want, as fans, we want to have that confidence going into the playoffs, and I think Ani playing in the midfield, step in the right direction. Chucky played pretty well, but yeah, there's still a little bit, there. Like, what are you gonna do to, you know, create these chances, but also finish? Like, who's gonna be in those spots? Like, what moves can you make to move guys around? And that's up to Mikey. And I really thought that, these last few matches, it's starting to show his experience is starting to show a little bit that, yeah, he's looking like a first-year manager. And before, I thought he was really good. I thought there was an edge to him, and now I think other head coaches are starting to catch up.
Well, time's up.
Yeah.
Like that's the issue here. There's no time to get necessarily better that all too much, because right now it's a time to rest. Right? There's international break coming. There's 2 more games in MLS play, and then it's playoffs and a series of 3, and whatever that's going to look like for these players. And again, just to kind of have that perspective from a global scale, right? Anders Dreyer, Yepes Ferskov, a lot of these players are coming into a league where normally the season is over once the table is finished. Once the regular season is done, that's it. Whoever's first place wins first place. So the body of a player that's used to potentially playing these long haul tournaments, and then you're asking them to play a bracket style NCAA tournament within the league to be the champion, then that's where it can mean that some of these bodies of the players aren't necessarily used to that. And then it's a different ball game in playoffs. Like it's completely different, not just in MLS for its wacky 3 series first round, but just the fact that there's so much travel. There's all these factors that are heightened, and the fact that you're going to face teams that know how to do this. A lot of the teams that you faced already and you faced a second time figured it out.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go ahead and have that same team mentality, but sharper and honed. Look at what Austin's doing. Austin is fighting for playoff. Look at what San Jose is doing. They got it done. They got a result away, and not just a tie, a win, where they were not supposed to get one, even for everything that happened within the 90 minutes. They were not supposed to win. SanDiego.FC lost this game. And, moving forward, hopefully they can learn their lesson from here on out. But, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. And it's going to be fun. And that's not me to poo-poo all over the thing. Like, no. It's going to be fun. Everybody's going to enjoy it and enjoy the ride, because it's been a crazy ride. It really has.
Well, fellas, it's almost midnight. And, when you said it's time to go, Tony, I thought you meant because the cleaning crew is literally right behind the camera, holding a vacuum and a broom and saying, no, Tony, it's time to go. You have to leave. Now we need to turn the lights off. So we shall turn the lights off on this edition, but don't forget, we'll be back later this week with episode 18 of the Chromaniacs and a look at the week that was, injury news, the latest from the training grounds, and a look ahead to Houston Catch. Until then, Tony, tell everybody where they can find not only the work that she was trying to put up right now, but everything that's happening at SD.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and have SanDiego.Futbol, the website, the YouTube channel, the Instagram, whatever you want to call it, the home of football in San Diego, and 2 balls and a mic coming up, because we will break down this game, because Shiva and I were suffering watching, just agonizing. That ball just wouldn't go in. And again, frustrating to see not so good soccer, but we'll have those breakdowns here on Monday, 2 balls and a mic, 8 p.m. Alex?
Yeah, and I'll recap it on Chromatic FC on Substack. And hey, leaving you guys on a good note, Minnesota and Vancouver, Seattle, they all dropped points. They ended up with draws. So, hey, we're not looking too bad.
Still first.
At the end of the day, still at first.
Still first place.
Somehow still in first place. Incredible.
Despite their best efforts.
Well, you can follow us on Instagram at The Chromaniacs. We invite you to do so. We appreciate you. If you've been watching us, please hit that thumbs up on the way out. Give us those likes. Hit subscribe so that you never miss a live show as well. And, of course, Padres playoffs start on Tuesday. We're going to have post-game shows on Padres Hot Tub for every single game. So it's going to be a busy week and hopefully a very exciting week for San Diego sports. Tonight they lost 1-0. Tonight wasn't that great. For Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena, I'm Craig Elston. Thank you so much for supporting the Chromaniacs. Vamos, SDFC.